All right, so Dr. Lee, I alluded to a question that I wanted to get to based on one of your comments about your roots sort of in discovery and early stage. Um, and hopefully we can use this as a segue to get into some specifics around the efficiencies that EQRx and AltruBio are building. Um, but so Dr. Lee, give us some insight into the connection between research and manufacturing, that early phase and manufacturing. How do discovery research and early development play a role in manufacturing efficiencies down the line? That's a big question. It's almost unfair of me to ask you that question. It's a big one, but give us your best your best take on it.
Yeah, it's an important question, and maybe the easiest way to answer it is to listen to our past podcast because I did talk about that topic quite a bit. Yeah, clearly it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I think it starts with the molecular knowledge that's gained during early research, and that's knowledge which should be transferred in some way to the manufacturing and the process development colleagues downstream. I think as Avril correctly points out, today's platform really being developed to handle monoclonal antibodies often just has to be used in a blunt force sort of way to handle these more complex molecules. And I think that's a reflection of not having a really good connection between manufacturing and R&D. And that the communication really needs to go in both directions. So from the R&D side, it really behooves the scientists to learn as much about the molecule, either in a sort of formal developability assessment, which I would highly recommend that people do. And a developability assessment can look at things such as expressibility in CHO cells or aggregation propensity. These are the sorts of bottlenecks that will hinder a very efficient manufacturing process. But even without a formal developability assessment, clearly the discovery teams will need to make some material to support their preclinical research, right? Whether it's a PK study or even a tox study, there will be some experience in making material, not in a controlled sort of manufacturing sort of setting, but nevertheless, you're making material in a cell culture process, and you're going to purify that material as well. And that sort of both product and process knowledge can be valuable in guiding the process development and manufacturing teams downstream, as long as that connection is being made, as long as there's that communication. In the other direction, I think it's also important for, if it's an internal manufacturing organization or even an external CDMO, to share what their platform is with the discovery scientists, so that there can be some understanding and some appreciation of the constraints that the platform has, but also maybe what the design space is. And that can help to help the discovery teams, particularly the protein engineering teams, to think about, how will their molecule work in a manufacturing setting. I think this is something that is becoming a little bit more and more routine. For sure, 10, 15 years ago, when biologics portfolios were really dominated by monoclonal antibodies, that might have been taken for granted or not done at all. It was more, throwing a molecule over the fence from R&D into manufacturing. I think we can't afford that kind of mindset anymore. Again, given the sort of competitive pressures and the need to get your molecules through manufacturing and then into the clinic as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, Avril, I'm gonna throw a similar question your way, sort of in the same vein. And to do so, I'm gonna play some of your words back to you, and then ask you to unpack them a bit for us. So, you've told me that when you think about manufacturing within QBD and manufacturing science and technology specifically, you are responsible for ensuring an operating space, but that's only a unidirectional perspective, meaning R&D and process development determine the design space and control strategy, and manufacturing provides an operating space to deliver products. You said next level value comes when a feedback loop is created among those disciplines. So I feel like that kind of speaks to the same, I guess, philosophy or theory that Dr. Lee was talking about just now, but unpack that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess maybe one thing I was thinking in Jean's comments are whenever any of those decisions around process development or process design are being made, if they're being made with a single attribute or criteria in mind, that's probably a miss. So that's probably something that we could be thinking more about in terms of the operational efficiency, ease of being able to produce from a manufacturer or operator standpoint. So in my mind, if we can come up with really good targets that provide value and make sure we communicate and cross-train and upskill new scientists, then we'll see things go smoother, things go faster, and efficiency be realized.